Following the American Revolution, the United States government functioned under the Articles of Confederation. The Articles of Confederation limited the federal government in several ways. First, it was not allowed to tax the people without the state's permission. Without revenue, the United States was unable to pay back money it owed to others. Second, it was unable to protect citizens without state permission. While the federal government remained weak, some states were more powerful than others and chose to exploit their fellow states' weaknesses. In 1787, 55 delegates from 12 states met in Philadelphia to discuss how to improve the federal government. They would discuss three main issues: finding equity among the states, national government versus state rights, and slavery. Rhode Island chose not to send delegates. Delegates included George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Alexander Hamilton. Among these delegates was James Madison from Virginia, who is called the architect of the Constitution. He helped design the Virginia Plan. The Virginia Plan called for three governing branches: executive, legislative, and judiciary. In the legislative branch, a bicameral government would exist. One house would be elected by the people, the other by the legislature. In both houses, the number of representatives representing a state would be based upon the state's population. Smaller states feared they would be taken advantage of if the Virginia Plan passed, so they proposed the New Jersey Plan, which called for a unicameral government with one vote per state. Larger states believed the smaller states were being unfair, so another plan was proposed as a compromise. The Connecticut Plan called for a bicameral government. The members of the lower house and the House of Representatives would be elected based upon a state's population. In the Senate, each state would elect 2 members to represent it. The Constitution the delegates finally agreed upon has 7 articles that describe the requirements for the new government. Article 1 provides qualifications and duties for those elected to Congress, as well as provides protection for those members when Congress was in session. Article 2 provides qualifications and duties for the President. Most people assumed at the time the Constitution was written that George Washington would be the first president. Article 3 describes the judiciary branch, which created the Supreme Court. In Article 4, the relations between the federal and the state government is described. In Article 5, instructions for amending the Constitution are provided, as well as 3 amendments which are prohibited from being added to the Constitution. Under the Constitution, under Article 6, the Constitution, the federal government would be responsible for the debts from the previous government. In Article 7, only 9 of the 13 states are required to ratify the Constitution for it to go into effect. After 16 weeks of negotiations by the delegates, the Constitution was agreed upon. Many delegates disagreed with parts of the proposed Constitution. Therefore, it was decided to call for consent of states rather than delegates. Delegates would return home, and the battle for the ratification of the Constitution would begin.